Yeah, here I send myself my steam boots. Really should have just waited to get one more creep kill, and then I could have sent myself yeah, the homecoming stone as well. Oh well. Yeah, another rune spawn, still no wards, so I'm just gonna try to go guess at it. Fortunately, Invis rune top. Top's kind of pushed up again, so I'm going to go gank once more. The Mended Shaman looks like he's going to run back, which I'm kind of sad about, but then he appears again, and I smile. Yep, so Pred jumps in just in time, of course, which is good. The tree doesn't even get the invis off on the Mended Shaman this time. He's going to obviously invis himself. I would throw down a contraption, but tree has a lot of health. I probably should have, regardless, just gained one more level in contraption and thrown it down. I'm not sure if it would have killed him or not. Tree really has a lot of strength, but it would have been worth trying. Okay, so here, I realize I'm going to try to go on the Soul Stealer from behind, so I really should drink one more bottle charge, just so I have full mana, because obviously leaping is going to take a lot. But I don't drink the bottle charge, which is kind of a mistake. And also I leap to the bottom of the hill rather than the top, which is also a mistake, because as you can see my first shot misses, which is going to have a huge effect. Also I should throw down a contraption right back there, in the center of the trees, because that would have given me a lot more vision for when he jukes around this side, rather than how I threw it down at the top, where the vision was kind of less useful. Yeah, so a few mistakes there. So obviously, if I hadn't gotten that miss, it would have slowed him before he got to the tower, which would have let me do more damage, and I most likely would have killed him. Yeah, see here you can see I start to run up the river and think twice about it. You should pretty much never run up the river when you don't have vision up there. Yeah, so unfortunately that miss kind of led to him surviving. He probably would have died if I hadn't missed, so really that was just my own fault. I can't blame RNG at all, because I leaped, or dashed, ulted, whatever, to the bottom of the hill rather than the top. So just little things like that, always pay attention to. I mean, you do it once, just avoid doing it again. Here you can see I'm continually making a mistake. This is something I normally do, which is not normally a mistake with Dr. Repulsor. When I'm farming, I run in between the ranged and the melee creeps to throw down my contraption to deal damage to both of them. Unfortunately, because I have a Valkyrie, this is a perfect way to set myself up to get arrowed, which I'll talk about myself getting arrowed later. Anyway, here, 10-minute rune spawned, and I go to guess which way it could be. Again, running up the river, not good, but I'm kind of trying to get to the root as quickly as possible. The reason I went to the bottom was because I saw the Mended Shaman disappear off the map to the top, so I assumed he was just trying to go guard the top rune, because that would make more sense than doing something else. Again, running up the river, just willing myself to get killed, especially since I used that Blood Chalice, and they have a Valkyrie, perfect way to get an arrow, which is exactly what happens. The Mended Shaman's intelligent enough, excuse me, to use his illusions to cast a heal, but it's still enough to kill me because Dr. Repulsor is hard to kill. But yeah, so that's the reason I went bottom instead of top. Kind of guessed wrong because it turned out, as I saw, that the Demented Shaman had gone back mid, but I figured it was worth just checking bottom all the way, even after I saw the Demented Shaman, because I was already halfway there. The odds were kind of in my favor, not in my favor, but playing the odds, it would make more sense to check that and then. Okay, so here they're pushing mid. I'm going to teleport in. Very intelligently, I'm going to teleport to the front of the tower when they have a Valkyrie. So that's pretty dumb. And by pretty dumb, I mean really dumb. Unfortunately, here I have the Demented Shaman dot on me still, so I can't health potion and bottle up now that the dot's off. I should be bottling as well as health potioning right here. No reason not to. It would help me jump back in here, which I really should be playing around. I guess I didn't realize that Gladiator was coming up, to be honest. So I didn't think we really had the opportunity to jump back in on him. Yeah. But if I had used my bottle, we'd probably be able to catch that. Well, I don't have my pull anymore, so I'm not sure we would have been able to catch the Demented Shaman or not, but there's really no reason not to have used my bottle. Which is kind of a mistake I make a couple times here. Not as effectively as possible using my items. It'll come up later. So yeah, here I go to check the top rune, and I ask the Gladiator to check the bottom for me. It is bottom. So I ask him to guard it, but that kind of is a tough thing to ask because they have a tree, so obviously they have eyes at the rune by 12 minutes, and they have a Valkyrie. Yeah, exactly. So if he had gone and guarded the rune, there's at least a decent chance of him getting arrowed. I mean, he can do his best to try to avoid it, and if he's anticipating it, it shouldn't be too hard, but still, I mean, I can understand. Here I pick up my life tube. I'm obviously going to work towards a null stone. I think null stone's, generally a good item on Dr. Repulsor as long as there's a couple things, and Voodoo Jester has two abilities that I really would like to avoid. Puppet Show most specifically, but the hold is annoying as well. And the Demented Shaman poison certainly doesn't hurt to avoid. So I just go with a life tube instead of a mana tube. I don't know exactly what it's called. We're just going to assume it's a mana tube. Just because I was lower on health at that point, and I have a chalice anyway. So yeah, that's basically all the motivation I have for that. It really can just vary, which I would buy first. Normally, the mana one would probably be slightly better. Here, Tree comes in for an ult on Thunderbringer. It's kind of strange, and so I'm just going to DPS him down a little bit. Don't really understand his move there. Maybe he was trying to cancel the TP with it. I'm not sure if it does. It might. Or trying to set up an arrow that Valk maybe had an arrow up and just missed or didn't use it in time or something. I don't really know. Finally, Pyro has bought some wards. Thankfully, he's kind of playing support for us, which I appreciate. And Asteroid bought him. I do want them on the runes, but there's something to note, which is that they have a tree, so like I said, they most likely have eyes on the runes. And eyes, counter ward. So before you place these wards, you really need to counter the eyes using a flying courier and a hatchet. Another thing here, my typical greediness, I see that there's haste rune top, which is just an amazing rune for me, but I try to get 2 more creep kills before going to get it. If I hadn't, I probably would have got it, and that's such a big rune that I really should prioritize that over 100 more gold. So definitely a mistake there. Yeah, avoid doing that. Again, I'm still doing this whole run in front of the creeps and throw down my infernal contraption, or whatever it's called, contraption, which is not good, because like I said, I'm just setting myself up to get arrowed. This is just kind of a habit, that you get into doing things with heroes certain ways, and it takes a lot to adopt to an opposing hero, because you just get things so ingrained. But again, just always think about it, Throwing down the contraption on my side of the creep wave, it would still damage all the melee creeps, and I can still pick off the ranged once the melee are dead anyway. So it's just getting a little greedy, which again is a problem that I have, and that's something I should definitely not have done in this game. So again, just kind of spending a lot of time farming, not really so many opportunities to gank. Oh, there's an arrow that I actually managed to dodge for once. So yeah, I'm just going to throw down a contraption to kind of damage them if they chase, and then blink out. So what makes Dr. Repulsor so strong, actually, is the fact that not only is he an amazing late game carry, but that he's also a great ganker and counter ganker, because, he can teleport to a tower and ult in from basically anywhere, and with his stun set up great ganks, kite people almost infinitely with his slow, etc. So it really is fun to play him in that regard, because if there's a lot of action, you're doing stuff, and if there's not a lot of action, you can farm and still be a good late game carry. Unfortunately, there's not really much action, which, like I said, is alright, because I figure this means we're probably going to win the game, but it's kind of unfortunate in the whole, yeah, I probably should, oh yeah, I considered teleporting bottom there, to be honest, but it would have just been me and Gladiator if he didn't teleport against 3 or 4 of their team, so it's better for me just to run with brown and, pink. But yeah, so just kind of unfortunate that I'm sitting here, not really doing much. Farming's obviously fine, because I am a pretty hard carry. Would like to have more action, but not really a choice, just because of the tree, basically. And we probably haven't killed enough of his eyes. You can see they kind of start to go on them bottom, but then back off, and they're backed off enough that I wouldn't be able to leap all the way to them, so I'm just going to keep farming for a little bit, obviously watching bottom. Call out that Soul Stealer is teleporting bottom, and he has a rune of some sort. I don't know what it is, because I didn't click on him, which I probably should have. I definitely should have, actually. Yeah, so basically right now I'm just going to kind of head top to farm while pretty much paying all my attention to bottom, looking for those Legion colored dots so that I can teleport in. Yep, I see enough of them now that it's definitely time to teleport. And I queue up with alt as usual, so I start moving as soon as I teleport in. See the teleport's done, and go in. Thunderbringer kind of tanks a lot of damage for us, and I get caught just at the very edge of the tree ult, which unfortunately immobilizes me. Try to go after the Soul Stealer, but they take him out fine. Should probably Blood Chalice right now. Yep, there it goes. And try to taste the Shaman. I assume he tried to use the juke spot, which is kind of why I go back down for a second there, but turns out he didn't. He actually just ran up, which doesn't make a ton of sense, but whatever. Teach their own. And yeah, so that's basically the value of, well, I mean, I would say that's the value of teleporting and counter ganking with Dr. Repulsor, but I didn't actually do much there. My team basically just blew them up. So, unfortunately, I mean, that's what happens. Well, not that there was much I could do. I mean, I got caught at the very edge of a tree ult, which basically stops everything I'm doing. it makes Shrunken Head a fair argument for having, because it would let me bust out of tree alts and stop